The opulent glow of the Sterling Manor's annual Christmas gala felt less like a celebration and more like a gilded cage. My name is Elena, and I am the personal assistant to Julian Sterling, the patriarch of the Sterling media empire. Julian is a billionaire who commands respect, fear, and absolute silence regarding his personal life. He is also the man I have been hopelessly, desperately in love with for 2 years. I knew the rules. I was the efficient, discreet shadow, indispensable in the office, invisible in his personal life. The disparity between our worlds was immense. He moved effortlessly between continents and boardrooms. I worried about next month's rent. Our affection was absolutely forbidden. He was not just my boss. He was engaged to Lady Sophia Caldwell, a woman whose pedigree and influence perfectly matched his own. Their Christmas engagement party was the centerpiece of the gala, a brutal, shimmering display of the life Julian was obligated to lead. The initial spark of attraction began subtly, amidst the frantic stress of managing his schedule. It was a shared, dry wit over a catastrophic corporate merger, a moment of profound, quiet understanding that bypassed the professional distance. That spark became a controlled burn, confined to whispered comments in the privacy of his study after midnight, or a brief, unguarded look across a crowded conference table. It was a clandestine affection blossoming invisible to everyone but us. Tonight, the forbidden nature of our connection felt suffocating. Julian, in his tuxedo, was untouchable, standing beside the flawless, diamond-clad Sophia. I was simply the one ensuring the catering schedule was flawless and the photographers stayed on message. I caught Julian's eye across the ballroom. He was laughing politely at one of Sophia's society anecdotes, but his gaze found mine, and in that split second, the practiced attachment vanished. His eyes held a flicker of immense sadness, a silent confession that he was as trapped as I felt. Later, in the chaos of setting up the dessert service, I retreated to the empty conservatory, seeking a moment of blessed silence. The conservatory was dark, illuminated only by the strings of tiny fairy lights draped across the lush, winter-flowering orchids. Suddenly, the door closed behind me. Julian stood there, shedding his forced smile like an uncomfortable coat. "I needed 5 minutes," he murmured, his voice tight, "before I have to cut the cake." The power disparity was immense, but in that small, shadowed room, surrounded by silence and light, the facade cracked. The stage was set for the confessions, the secret burdens that were about to tumble out. "It's beautiful, Julian," I said, gesturing vaguely at the opulent decorations. "It's exactly what Sophia wanted." "It's a performance, Elena," he corrected, stepping closer. "Everything in this life is a negotiation and a performance, including the vows." I held my breath, waiting. He had never spoken so openly about his engagement. "I can't do this anymore," he confessed, running a hand through his impeccably styled hair. "The lies, the distance, is destroying us both." He explained the gilded cage of his affection. His father's will was rigid, tying the controlling stake in Sterling Global to a specific marriage clause, a union with an established family of equal standing to ensure the continuity and security of the empire. He had fought it for years, but the board and the crushing weight of his legacy were relentless. He chose Sophia not because he loved her, but because she understands the contract. She's pragmatic, She needs the political influence her family gains from the Sterling name. We have an agreement, a front, a strategic alliance. There will be no real marriage, no emotional bond. It's all about the stock price. My mind spun. He wasn't marrying for love or passion. He was marrying for power and obligation. The complexity of his forbidden love was deeper than I imagined. But the lie hurts the people you actually care about. It hurts me. He stepped closer, the fairy lights catching the sharp angles of his face. I know, and that is my greatest failure. But the alternative, Elena, is the collapse of an empire that employs 50,000 people. My hands are tied by a dead man's decree. He reached out, his hand trembling slightly, and gently brushed a strand of hair from my cheek. You are my peace, Elena. You are the only thing that is honest and real in this entire manufactured world. That's why I keep you close. I need you here, even if I can't touch you, even if it hurts. The air was electric, with the tension of 2 years of suppressed emotion. He was forbidden, bound by corporate chains, but in that moment, he was just Julian, a man trapped by his own inheritance. I'm staying, I whispered, the words surprising even myself. The depth of his silent struggle was a binding force. I chose the pain of clandestine affection over the simple escape of leaving. The clock in the main hall began to chime, signaling the moment of the cake cutting, the final, inevitable seal of his duty. Julian looked at me, his eyes full of anguish and deep, agonizing love. He leaned in, and in the shadow of the fairy lights, he gave me one swift, desperate kiss, a forbidden, profound confession that held all the tenderness and regret of his soul. He pulled back, his face instantly regaining the cold, impenetrable mask of the CEO. Go, he commanded, his voice now crisp and professional. Go back to the kitchen and don't look at me again tonight. I nodded, slipping out the side door just as the main doors opened, flooding the conservatory with the sound of applause. I returned to my post, watching him perform his duty, the taste of his forbidden kiss still a vibrant, electric memory on my lips. I was the keeper of his greatest secret, his silent partner in a love that could only exist in the shadows and the intense, magical privacy of a Christmas confession. The deep, emotional complexities of our forbidden love were now the truth of my life.